Here's what happened. For reasons beyond me, Baker Mayfield decided to basically walk on at Carolina and join the worst team in pro football. That's what ESPN's ranking, the offseason power rankings had him ranked 32nd. Would you believe that the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers is Ben McAdoo? Ben McAdoo, say it with me. Ben McAdoo is trash. He was trash with the Giants, with his, what would you call Cheesecake Factory menu, when he's holding it up.
He's
trash. How did he get this job? Matt Rule is a college football coach. Period. End of story. Say it with me. Matt Rule is trash, 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 trash. The whole coaching staff is trash. The organization is trash, trash.
This is what we become. We not really doing no. Matter of fact, welcome to FPFO.
Yeah, welcome back. Another episode here with Terrence the God, and
I don't even want to say my name because I really don't even want to put my name. I don't want my name to be associated with this shit. Honestly, this is what we become. Cause that was just one clip, and I put that clip at the front because that's the clip that y'all know. That's the clip y'all been seeing. But this is what this organization has become. In a span of 6 years, 7 years, this is what the organization has become. The fucking laughingstock of the NFL. What the New York Jets have been. What the fucking Miami Dolphins have been. What the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars have been. This is the fucking level that we at. So I'm fucking heated. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all right now. My voice ain't the best, so y'all gonna have to bear with me. But I'll be damned if I keep sitting around watching this fuck shit product. And don't get me wrong, it's not everybody. And really a majority of it isn't the fucking players. A majority of it. Because y'all's boy Baker, we on his ass today. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. And I don't give a fuck who got anything to say about it. I don't give a fuck if you like it or not. But I'm sick and fucking tired of this motherfucking being coddled. Then he wants to go into the fucking press conference with an attitude, being rude and extremely short with the journalists and the reporters that's just doing their job. I'm tired of this shit. Already, week 4, I'm already back at the point that I was last year. About week 8, week 9. I'm already back there. It's fucking embarrassing, man. What you got to say, bro?
yeah, so, I mean, if y'all follow the page, then y'all know me and JJ, we went and seen the game in person. And to say the least, another shit show. We was just able to catch it in person this time. But really, same thing every week. It's really beginning to sound like a broken record. Because we're going to come in here and say the same thing. Defense played great. Offense looked like shit once again. And, yeah, if you like Baker, if you have any kind of respect for Baker, I advise you to go ahead and turn it off. Because we is about to get on Baker ass today. And because I was at that game, before the game, tailgating, getting drinks, like hanging out, chilling. And I made it my mission to find people with Baker Mayfield jerseys on, whether it was Oklahoma, Carolina Panthers, shitty-ass Cleveland Browns. I made it my mission to find them and ask them, so how do you think Baker been playing so far? What's your take on Baker? All I got, it's not his fault. Baker's a great quarterback. You can win with Baker. Baker's this, Baker's that. Man, Baker ain't shit. Baker ain't worth shit. The last few games I seen from Baker, he ain't worth shit. This man is constantly can't throw the ball, don't know how to read the defenses, just makes dumbass decisions, puts the team in jeopardy time and time again. His pocket presence is terrible once again. And then you Baker fans, you blame it on everything but Baker. Even Baker can go out in a press conference and own up and say he looks like shit. But then what just pisses me off is you fans, y'all can't seem to get that. And every game he's coming out and there's no improvement. And so, like I said to start with, if you got any kind of respect for Baker, you can go ahead and turn it off now. Because this shit about to get real.
So, I mean, I guess we're going to do a quick summary because I really transparently, I'm tired of doing the summaries too because it's been the same thing. So I'm going to do the extremely fast-forwarded version of the summary because just watch the game. Honestly. Just watch the game. I mean, it's just like Terrence just said. Like you just said, it's the same shit already every week. And I'm already exhausted. If the camera was able to zoom in or we had the individual cameras, you would see the fucking bags under my eyes and the redness just in my eyes. Cause it's fucking exhausting, dog. Already. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this too, before we even dive into this shit. Cause I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, that press conference, we're going to watch it all together as a family. We're going to listen to it all together as a family. Since this is the nigga that, motherfuckers want to defend. Because, it's always the offensive line's fault. Our receivers can't get no separation. Since that's what it is, cool. So now we're going to sit together as a family and we're going to listen to our starting quarterback, the motherfucker that y'all want to continue to defend. We're going to sit together and watch it as a family. And I'm going to show y'all how much of a dickhead this motherfucker sound like. Because like you said last night, it's just a sense of arrogance and entitlement. It's an underlying tone of that shit. Well, motherfucker, if we being honest, who are you to come into a press conference the way you did Sunday afternoon after the game? Honestly, with all due respect to you as a person. As a player of Baker Mayfield, who in the fuck do you think you are? And you want me to tell you, and this is my last point before we move on to actually getting into the show. Because y'all are going to have to bear with us today. This is my last point. This is what pisses me off about this fan base. And we're going to talk about this shit a little more in detail too. But this is what pisses me off about y'all niggas. If Cam Newton was playing the way that Baker Mayfield was playing or currently is playing, and was coming into the fucking interviews the way Baker has, specifically Sunday afternoon, y'all motherfuckers would have that nigga on Mount Calvary. And the problem is, you know it. You know I'm not lying. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It is. And you know it's bad. Because if you poll the Carolina fan base as a whole, I guarantee you 78% of them motherfuckers is calling for Sam Darnold to return. And that's how you know it's bad. Because we know what we had to sit through last year with that nigga. But hey, I mean, at least at this point last year, we were 3-1.
Facts.
At least at this point last year, when we played trash teams at the beginning of the season, 3 of them to start the year, at least we busted all 3 of them in they shit. At least at some point last year, we thought Sam Darnold really could be the answer. It hasn't happened. And it won't happen. As long as Ben McAdoo is the offensive coordinator, as long as Matt Rule is the head coach, and as long as Baker continues to put on the performances that he's doing. As long as he has this sense of entitlement, this sense of arrogance, like we owe him some shit. Motherfucker, you don't mean shit to us in Charlotte, with all due respect. You ain't took us to shit. What you did, nigga, you did in Oklahoma and Cleveland. 1 year, I might add, because it wasn't like it was consistent. And maybe before the nigga came in, when the story broke about him and Odell, maybe before I thought Odell's daddy was, being a little excessive. But if I'm DJ Moore, I'm calling my pops, my mama, my representative, whoever the fuck, and I'm creating a goddamn video right now as we speak. Because I'm trying to get out of Carolina as fast as fucking possible. I'm going to go to the summary. And I'm going to let you speak. I'm going to let you speak, bro. I know I'm already off on a tangent. I'm going to let you speak because I'm going to let you get your shit off. For sure. But this shit just been burning me up. This shit just been burning me up since Sunday. Since the car ride back. Because I ain't going to sit here and lie to y'all. I was a little intoxicated at the game. I was. But I still knew what the fuck was going on. I was still fully locked in. And though the intoxication, while we were in the stadium, eased that motherfucker a little bit, when I got in the back of that damn car, and only thing I saw was highway, and the only thing I could do was think, physically I became ill. And I know I say that, and y'all probably think I'm lying. Am I lying?
You just had to be there. Honestly. All facts.
Start the game out. Defense forces a punt. I mean, like I said, this shit's going to sound like a broken record. Like you said. It's going to sound like a broken record. Legitimately. It's going to sound like the first 3 games of the season. Defense forces a punt. That's how I start my notes. That's how the shit start. Am I lying? Because I really think these niggas be thinking that I'm capping.
Nah.
Defense forces a punt. We get the ball, and I don't know what is wrong with our special team, our return special team. I don't know what the fucking problem is. But we got saved, because this game could have went a lot of different ways. But we really got saved as soon as we put our hands on the fucking football. Because as soon as defense forces a punt, as soon as defense does what they've been doing all fucking year, Shaw Smith, it's not even like he got his shit cracked. Nothing. But as soon as we get the opportunity to touch it, niggas cough the fucking football up. Now, yes, it's great that we recovered. But it's just, Shaw Smith coughs it up. Offense stalls out. Like I said, this is going to be quick, bro, because we got to get into this shit. Offense stalls out. Possession 1, and this is why I said Ben McAdoo and Matt Rule earlier when I was talking about, it would never feel or look that way. Because on 3rd and 1, and not even a true 3rd and 1, more so like 3rd and 1.5, what we decide to do is let a 5'10", 205-pound motherfucker attempt to get 1.5 yards on 3rd down when you got Christian McCaffrey, arguably the best running back in the NFL, in your backfield. So on 3rd and 1, and a half. We decide to go a fucking a quarterback sneak. Then on 4th down, we decided to do what we should have done on 3rd down, which was give the ball to Christian McCaffrey, and we just get whipped backside up front. So again, like you said, starting the shit off, he continues to put our team in jeopardy because he does. Because this came after a lack of execution. Once again, a lack of ability to move the football, a lack of ability to execute on 3rd down, a lack of ability to convert on 3rd down, which all stems from what? All stems from play calling. All stems from this nigga not being able to get the ball over the line of scrimmage. Let me not get ahead of myself. Turn the ball over. Give the ball back. Defense once again gets off the field after a phenomenal play by Brian Burns on 4th and 1 on the end around or jet sweep, whichever one you want to classify it as. Phenomenal play. But nevertheless, defense gets off the field. Fast forward to the 2nd quarter because it wasn't much to talk about after that. We finally get our first points. And guess what unit it came from. Not from a Baker Mayfield-led offense. Not from the 2 return groups who it seems like the only thing since Andre Roberts and since Laviska Shenault has been injured or Laviska Shenault doesn't get to start, the only thing that they do is cough the football up. Not from either one of those 2 or 3 units, however you want to divide it up, but from the defense, per usual. Defense scores a touchdown the 2nd week in a row. The 2nd week in a row, you have a head start. The 2nd week in a row, you don't got to do shit offensively. Matter of fact, I'm done with this summary. I'm done with this shit. Because it's going to be the same shit. And I just don't want to waste any more time than we already have on this shit. Because if you watched the game, you did. And if you didn't, you didn't. Honestly. And I won't even get into who scored the touchdown because I know how you feel about that. I know how you feel about that and my new relationship with Frankie Louvu, So I won't even get into who scored that motherfucker.
That relationship is almost unhealthy.
But listen, man. It's just exhausting. It's just exhausting. What would you like to say about the game as a whole? What would you? We'll kind of, I guess we'll kind of work backwards or whatever may have you. But what would you like to say about the game as a whole? Because fuck the summer.
Defense, they played great. Come in, get a turnover, score a touchdown, as you said. Offense didn't have to do shit. Defense bails them out. They get 2 great stops on 4th downs throughout the game.
Yep.
And so, honestly, I just seen a very good game from the defense in the first half. And, you can look at the score and predict that the offense, that the Cardinals' offense was killing us. But that wasn't even the case. If you watched the game or was at the game, then you can see that, obviously, the defense stays on the field because the offense can't move the fucking ball.
Yep. So
the defense stays on the field. That causes fatigue. And then you have to tackle James Conner. Everybody know he's big as shit. So, that happens. And so the defense is just fatigued at that point. And when you don't have an offense to pick you up after making play after play, that shit gets exhausting. That shit gets very exhausting. And so, basically, that was the story of the game. That's been the story of the past few weeks now. Defense coming in, making great plays, getting stops, going to show why they are a top 10 defense in the league, even going to put points on the board. Like we said a few weeks ago, the emphasis was defense couldn't get takeaways. The past 2 weeks, the defense has gotten takeaways and also has putting points on the board. But then you just have a shitty offense, like shitty play calling, a quarterback who just doesn't know his reads, terrible passes. He's so fidgety in the pocket, can't settle down, can't step into his throw, so it's making piss poor throws. And then you have Christian McCaffrey, and he touches the ball 4 times in the second half, maybe. I don't even know if he touched it that many times.
Yeah, I mean, that's about right. I don't know how many times they put that shit on the ground in the second half.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you can't even say we couldn't run the ball because we was down, because we was tied up going into the second half. So I really don't understand why he only touched the ball 4 times. That goes back to shitty play calling by Ben McAdoo. And yeah, so everything just started to spiral out of control from there. Honestly, shit just started to spiral out of control. And so, and then a growing theme that's been over the past few weeks, well, really over Baker Mayfield's career, every ball is batted down at the fucking line. That's something that I don't get. I still haven't found an adequate answer for it yet, because it seems like it only happens with him. Because I didn't see this with Sam Darnold.
No.
I didn't see this with Cam Newton.
No.
It seems like it's only happening with him, so I really don't understand. And then it's like the defense, they probably go in the game expecting to bat 5-6 balls down.
Yep.
And so, I mean, like, it's just shit is not changing. Everything is so repetitive. There's no creativity with the offense. You get players in who's not been in all fucking year. They get in the game, they first time touching the ball, they fumble that bitch. Just a lack of fucking discipline. A lack of discipline. No effort, no heart, because there's no way you get in the game for your first time and you do that. So that's just a lack of focus, a lack of not wanting to be there. And so, I mean, I really don't get it. Like, at this point, it's just starting to get hard to watch, because we're really watching the same thing every fucking week. Same thing every week. Defense is playing great football. Offense looks like shit week in and week out. And so, like, my only exciting moment from the game was just me being able to go see Christian McCaffrey play. Because honestly, I didn't expect the offense to do shit else besides him. And look, they proved me right again. And so, I mean, that's really all I got to say to sum up the game from what I seen.
I mean, it's it's just the same. It's the same shit. A lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today, a lot of the comments that we're going to make, a lot of, it's going to be the same shit. It's going to be the same shit. I thought that we had matured with Matt Rule, matured out of, a lack of a sense of urgency. And this is all my fault internally. This is all my fault because it's delusional. It's all my fault. I thought we had matured past having to burn timeouts in situations that we don't need to burn timeouts. I thought we had matured past coming in saying that this is our game plan and then doing some shit completely different. And no, it's not to throw the other team off, nothing like that. It's not that. It's because we just don't have the ability to do it. I thought we had matured past that. I thought we had matured past deflecting the blame off of a quarterback that we brought in. Because we know when Cam Newton was there, we know the guy that wasn't his guy that he claimed was. We know, how quick the responsibility and the accountability was placed on him last year when he came in. But we also know how much he defended Sam Darnold's ass up until the very last snap of last year. So I thought we had matured past this stuff. But again, I was wrong. And again, it's all my fault. Because year in and year out, for the past 3 years, I've had expectations. The past 2 years, I've documented those expectations and let y'all know that this is really what I feel about the unit as a whole, based on the names that we have. Year in and year out, I continue to let this team and this organization do this shit to me. caused me physical and mental health issues. Year in and year out, literally. I mean, I woke up this morning just in a shit fucking mood for no other reason besides the fact that I know come this Sunday, I'm going to have to see the same exact shit and hear the same exact answers. Come tomorrow, I'm going to have to sit and listen to Phil Snow and Ben McAdoo. Specifically Ben McAdoo. Sit up there with his fucking chest poked out like he's an accomplished coach. Sitting there and speak to the media like they're lesser than, like they don't know football and understand it. For no other reason besides that. And I continue to let this team and this organization do this shit to me. Every fucking year. Every year. I continue to get gassed up and hyped up when we finally decide to go to a game. Every time. I continue to get extremely intoxicated, prepared to have a blast, and I continue to get my fucking heart ripped out of my chest and spit on and pissed on because this organization has the inability to do anything right since Dave Tepper has been the owner. I continue to let it happen. So it's my fault. It really is. It really, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it. This ain't a conversation that we haven't had before.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors.
Facts. It hasn't been a game that I went to yet that we won. So, I mean, that just says enough in itself. I mean, it's crazy how you have to go to these games week in and week out to yield the same results every week, and nothing changes. And then they get in the press conferences. They don't have an answer for shit. It's the same thing they said last week. Oh, we just got to go out there and play better. Oh, we just have to do this. Oh, we had the game plan. We just have to execute it.
We're close.
We're close. That's Matt Rule and Baker Mayfield's favorite saying. We're close. Well, how fucking close do you have to get until you can get the job done? For how close as they done put out, they not fucking close enough. So I really don't understand it. But, yeah, same thing, week in, week out. And so, yeah, it is beginning to sound like a broken record because we're preaching the same thing every single week because the same shit keeps happening. There's no change within the organization. You got people out here who fumble the ball constantly. Chuba Hubbard, what did he fumble? Two kickoffs, two kick returns last week.
And I mean, it's not like the nigga is having to return them in the air.
Yeah.
He's fumbling the ball off of the bitch, wobbling down the field, wobbling on the ground.
Yeah.
Because the Cardinals kicker, he didn't kick the ball off for the last 3 or 4 times that they kicked that bitch off. It was Benjamin, that damn second, third string running back. So it wasn't like he was booting the bitch through the end zone or like Chuba had to do anything other than put his chest in front of the football. But we can't even do that right.
Yeah. It's the little stuff, man. It's the little stuff. And that might not sound as of a big deal, but when it happens every fucking week, then that means it's not getting addressed in practice. That means it's not getting addressed. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's being held accountable. And then that just goes to show throughout the game. Throughout every week that they come out on the field, same thing is happening. So people are not getting held accountable. And that starts with the coaching staff. That starts with the owner. You're not even holding your coaches accountable because they continue to put on this bullshit performance for you every fucking week, and there's no changes being made. Matt Rule continues to do this year in and year out, and you say, "Oh, we're willing to ride this thing out until next season." Matt Rule should have been fired fucking last year. He should have been fired after the 2 games that we lost at the beginning of this year. And so I don't understand it. So it's all a damn pipeline. It starts at the top and it just trickles the fuck down. Because if you get rid of Matt Rule, if you hold Matt Rule accountable for his shit performances and his actions, then this shit doesn't fall on the players. Because then they know that they can be fucking replaceable. And so when shit like that happens, then it just reflects on the field. And so that's all it is. That's all it is to it, honestly.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, we sit here and talk about Chuba Hubbard. Unfortunately, we're probably going to have to see him continue to return kicks because Laviska Shenault, I mean, he came in with an injury designation of questionable already with a hamstring injury. And then he pulled his other hamstring. So, we're looking at a bare minimum at least 2 weeks, in my opinion. Because if it took Matt Rule so long to put him on the field off rip initially, whatever the argument may be, he didn't know the offense, whatever. But in that same breath, I mean, the least the nigga could have done was return kicks. So unfortunately, that's going to be something that isn't addressed, I'm sure. Because I don't know who you're going to put back there. And really, it damn near doesn't matter who you put back there. Only thing they need to do is hold on to the football because you can't be no worse than Chuba Hubbard.
Honestly. I don't give a fuck how slow you is. Just hold it. Just hold on to it. Like, so
let's get into it. Cause let's get into the actual show. Let's get into the actual show and our actual talking points. And this is what we gonna do. Like I said at the start of the show, we're gonna sit here as a family and just listen to y'all starting quarterback speak. Because this is the nigga y'all wanted. This is who y'all wanted, right? Because Cam Newton, he wasn't serviceable enough, I guess. But now we got to sit back and watch a performance where a quarterback can't even throw for 200 yards. Run the same play 2 times in a row. Overshoot the first time you throw in the double coverage because that's your primary read and you don't see Christian McCaffrey wide open in the flat with like 6 or 7 yards of separation between him and the closest defender. You don't see that because you don't go through your primary read. And then you run the same exact play again the next possession and you throw a shit ball to an open receiver. Oh, by the way, a receiver who Matt Rule continues to put the blame on. Not specifically, but, receivers that continue to get the blame for, quote-unquote, not creating separation, quote-unquote, not running their routes, etc. So we're going to sit down and listen to this shit.
How do you just kind of explain the lack of production today?
Just didn't make the plays when they were there. I mean, not a whole lot.
Off rip, put some fucking bass in your voice. Off rip. Cause this is the shit. This is what y'all drive me to. Off rip, put some fucking bass in your voice, nigga. Cause it's bitch shit, right? Because like I said, and why do I get so worked up? Why do I get so amped up? Cause if it was Cam Newton, niggas is calling for his head. But every fucking week, I got to go on Panthers Twitter. I got to be in the stadium. Can't even piss in peace. Without some shit being defended. Some weak shit. So, yeah, now this is the version that y'all getting me now. Put some fucking bass in your voice, nigga. Off rip.
Gotta look at the tape, but
I'm tired of hearing that. Because I heard this shit 6 or 7 times Sunday. Just got to look at the tape. Got to sit back and watch the film. Nigga, you know what you did. You don't got to sit back and watch shit. You only had the ball for 21 minutes. So every play you should be able to recall if you ask me. Had the bitch for 21 minutes. So you know what happened. Don't tell me you got to sit back and watch the tape. Because you know. Mind you, we're 13 seconds in. So we won't even go through the whole thing. Because if we do, I'm going to end up breaking some shit. Because I don't listen to this press conference 5 times. Not including the time I'm about to listen to it right now.
Baker, do you feel like you're being put in the best position to succeed here in Carolina?
Yeah, I'm not going to fall for that trap.
Cool. Cool. Thank you,
plays to be
Bake,
made.
because that was some bullshit. That was a bullshit question.
Find
That
ways
was
to
a trap
complete the
question.
ball, and,
So you're right.
now
Thank
we've
you.
got a good game plan. We didn't execute it. And so, like I said, you got to look at the tape, figure it out, and go from there.
Baker, obviously, completion percentage is on more than just the quarterback. It's more about it's not completely
See?
accuracy.
Here we go.
To attribute
Here we go.
55% of your passes.
Already, here we go. Matter of fact, I'm not. You heard what the nigga said. It's not a completion percentage. Isn't always about quarterback play. You know what? That may be true. But completion percentage this year, based on what you see, whoever this reporter is, because I don't know which one this is, but based on what you see, has the completion percentage been on the quarterback this year? So don't off rip. Here we go. Well, what? 44 seconds in, and we shooting them bail already. But this is shit I'm talking about. Because it's the media, it's the fan base, it's the coaching staff. Always trying to deflect accountability off of these niggas, man. Always.
I mean, it's a lot, like you said. It's not just, it's everybody, you know. That goes for the run game as well.
It's everybody, and it goes for the run game as well. Huh? Is everybody sitting in the pocket creating their own pressure? Is everybody constantly overthrowing a wide open DJ Moore? Is everybody damn near averaging 3, 4, 5 tip passes at the line of scrimmage a game? Oh, it's a run game. He done went for 100 plus 2 weeks in a row. But you don't want to be accountable. So you get an answer like that. It's everybody. You know, it's everybody. It's including the run game. The run game, really? Is everybody? Cool.
Not running the ball well, that goes on everybody. So, I mean,
When did we not run the ball well? Cool. The nigga touched the ball what on the ground yesterday? 8 times, 9 times, or Sunday? 9 times, right? Isn't that what we ended up coming up with?
Something like that.
Saw the stat. I think we ended up with 9 times. Don't get me wrong, the average wasn't the best 3.4 yards a carry, but I mean, if you give him more touches, I'm convinced we can get that number to 4 yards a carry, because it wasn't like we wasn't creating gas plays when he touched the football.
Yeah, he touched it 8 times.
Right.
27 yards.
You know. Okay, cool.
like I said, got to look at the tape. Got to look to see.
Mind you, this is the second or third time he's already said we got to look at the tape. And already that Matt Rule shit is rubbing off on him.
If we were detailed enough, but I know there were definitely plays to be made there that we didn't.
Not allow the better passes to kind of get in your head as you're.
Just play the next play.
Just go to the next play. How many times are we going to have to go to the next play? How many times? Because 2 weeks ago, it wasn't a problem. This comes out of Baker's mouth. 2 weeks ago, the batted passes wasn't a problem. But it is, though. Because this week, your defense makes a stop, allows a field goal. The first play out, a tip pass, leads to an interception. This week, we still have a chance to compete in a football game, 4th and 1, in your own territory. A batted pass forces a turnover on downs. So how many times do we got to go to the next play? And how many times, and how long are the batted passes not going to be a problem for you, Baker Mayfield? What does it take? What is it going to take in order for you to start taking responsibility and acknowledging, okay, this is a problem that I have, and I need to figure out how the fuck to fix it?
When you're going to throw to make that leap to bat down the passes, it just seems like timing is.
I don't know. I haven't asked the other teams if they figured it out. I don't know if they have.
Okay, so this is when the shit starts.
That's the shit I hate. That arrogant snob like shit. You coming in this press conference like you're fucking proven in this organization. You coming in this press conference like you just went and threw for fucking 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and just happened to lose on some bullshit. No, nigga, you been playing like shit for the past 4 fucking games. So any question they ask you in the press conference, you shouldn't be giving some snob, arrogant ass answer. Because all of this shit is surrounded around you. You're the fucking quarterback. You're the captain of the ship. You're the leader of the fucking team. And then when somebody asks you a legitimate question, oh, I got to ask the defense if they figured it out. What the fuck kind of question? What the fuck kind of answer is that? That's the most piss poor snob fucking answer that I've ever fucking heard. Solely when the performance is on you. You the one that played like shit. You the one that allowed the defense to key in on your sorry ass passes week in and week out. Because they can easily watch film and see that you can't throw the ball over the fucking defensive lineman's head. That is on you. That's you. You're the reason that the defense keys in on you can't throw the pass to your receiver when he wide the fuck open. And that you in the pocket fidgeting around when nobody's around you. You making your own self uncomfortable in the pocket. You are the reason the defense is keying in on that. So when somebody asks you a question and then you give a snob-ass answer like that, it just really pisses me off. Because here you go already trying to be a fucking smart-ass, trying to deflect blame from yourself, and you're just not taking any accountability. Baker, it's on you. It's on you.
We've heard you a couple weeks ago sort of saying you were a little surprised, I think, by some of the batted passes question that we were asking. Matt said today that they showed up pretty big. What do you think you guys can do to fix that?
And that's cap. I didn't like that. And I think that's David Newton. I'm pretty sure that's David Newton. And I can't stand that bitch anyway. I can't stand that bitch anyway. Because the way he tried to do Cam when that nigga left, tried to throw smut on his name. I can't stand that bitch anyway. And that was cap. Because Matt Rule did not describe it like that. That's not what he said. He said they showed up. But he didn't put no emphasis on they showed up very big or extremely big or put an emphasis on they came up big. No, he didn't say that. Don't do that.
Tape and see what we need to do. I mean, there's really not a whole lot I can give you right now. Got to look at the tape and see.
There it go. There it go again. We got to look at the tape. It's that Matt Rule shit.
Rushing or not, it's not like they were really getting home on pass rush. So when they're doing that, they're stopping their feet and they're putting their hands up. So, I mean, that's...
Mind you, the fucking constant excuse that y'all keep trying to give this nigga about the offensive line, he completely just debunked that whole argument. I'll rewind it because I'm sure y'all didn't hear it. I'll rewind it. Pay attention.
Got to look at the tape and see whether they were rushing or not. It's not like they were really getting home on pass rush. So when they're doing that, they're stopping their feet and they're putting their hands up. So
cool.
I mean, that's a part of when your O-line plays well in the pass game. So you got to find a way to get around it.
Just in terms of, I know when you came here, you're hoping for a fresh start and get things moving offensively, and it just hasn't happened. I mean, just your emotions through 4 weeks and, how this has gone so far.
Obviously, I'm frustrated at the fact that we're 1-3. I mean, that's it, though. We're 4 weeks into the year. We can say.
And so then this is when I really, really, really start nitpicking, right? Don't say we're only 4 games into the year. Because though that may be true, that to me, on a deeper, darker level, that's you not showing a sense of urgency. Yes, you're only 4 weeks into the year. But the 4 weeks that we've seen you play, it's been the same issue. Because we didn't win that game last week because of Baker Mayfield. The same problems that the nigga has had, that he had week 1 and 2, were the same problems that he had week 3. So don't tell me that we're only 4 games into the year, because that makes me feel like you don't have a sense of urgency to get this shit turned around. That's what it makes me feel like.
And I just want to comment on that. 4 games into the year, them 4 games mean a lot when you got to go and play the fucking 49ers next week.
Yep.
When you got to play the Rams the week after that. And then who we got to see? The Ravens this season.
Yep.
The Bills this season.
Yep.
And so those 4 games mean a
Bengals.
fucking lot that you can't get the fuck back. 4 games that you should have won this year. But because you have shit quarterback play, then that's why we're 1-3 right now. So yeah, we're only 4 games into the season. But those 4 games into the season can very much well cost you a fucking playoff trip. And so tread lightly when you say you only 4 games into the season.
And let you guys pile on us, or we're going to come together as a locker room. That's exactly how we're going to handle it. I don't really care about the fact that our fans are booing or what's going on. We're going to figure it out. And when we win, it'll still be just us in the locker room. And that's really all I care about. So we're going to be.
And this is where I get triggered. This is where I get triggered. This kind of shit is what really drives me. Like, I can't even tell y'all what kind of level this takes me to as a fan, because I'm so motherfucking sick and tired of this new regime and a motherfucker that just came in this bitch that ain't done shit for the city, ain't proved shit to the city, ain't proved shit to his teammates. I'm so sick and tired of niggas fucking dismissing us as a fan base. I'm fucking sick and tired of that shit. Dave Tepper pulled the same shit this all season. And like you said earlier, it starts from the fucking top. Because, motherfucker, you shouldn't feel comfortable saying some shit like that. But you do, because your owner echoes the same sentiment. Y'all don't give a fuck about the fans. And when we turn it around, it's only going to be us in the locker room. Nigga, we had your back. We were excited to see you come in here and potentially turn things around. We were excited to see you come in here with a fresh start to play against a team that seemed to have given up on you. A team that seemingly just dismissed you and threw you by the wayside. So don't say you don't care. Don't say you don't care about us booing. Because we booing for some reason. This is when I get really, really fucking triggered, bro. I get very triggered. Honestly. Because this is the second time from somebody, who means a lot to, it's not like this nigga is the third string, kick return man or the third string offensive guard, with all due respect to what they do for the team, because, motherfuckers do got to get good looks in practice, et cetera, et cetera. It's not like it's one of those guys. This is the second time this year that somebody with a prominent voice for the organization has dismissed us as fans. The second time. I get triggered by shit like this, dog. Because though you may feel like we don't put in no work, et cetera, like I've been telling y'all, I feel this shit, nigga. I feel this shit. Monday mornings, it's hard as fuck for me to wake up when I know what I just watched yesterday, and then I got to come listen to you 45 minutes to an hour after the game. Don't dismiss me as a fan, bro. But it starts from the top, because this shit started this past offseason. It starts from the top. So now you feel comfortable bringing your small, narrow ass into a city that you ain't proving shit to and saying some shit like we don't care about the fans booing. You feel comfortable saying dumb shit like that because that's what your owners say. So the only thing you do is echo the sentiment of your owner. Or of the team owner, because I don't like the way that shit sounded. That's what you do. You feel comfortable saying some shit like that. You don't care about the fans booing. Well, we care about the money that we got to spend on tickets on a week in, week out basis. We care about the money that, we work hard for to go pay for your jersey. We care about, having to pay $14, $15, $16 to contribute to your contract for one measly ass beer. We care about the gas money that we got to spend to get to you in the middle of inflation, in the middle of the beginning of a recession. We care about the 3 or 4 hours that we spend on a week in, week out basis watching you play football. So don't say you don't care about the fans booing, because that shit triggers me. Really. Really.
Baker, where do you look to get better at and make those improvements?
Everywhere. I mean, it's all little details. I mean, whether it's communication, getting on the same page, whether it's just executing, we just have to go play ball. And I've said it multiple times, we just need to go play ball.
Boos really don't affect you at all, the boos?
Did we go down and score a touchdown after they started booing? Yes.
Is this one of the more challenging?
See? And that's that dismissive shit again. Because it's like, yeah, them motherfuckers, they don't mean shit. They don't mean shit. So, yeah. And that's that snob shit again.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about.
That shit right there is so fucking pathetic. Like, he said that like he been doing that shit all season. Like, we can just go and score a touchdown at any given moment.
Right, and that's the problem.
Because that's not the fucking case at all. That's not the case at all. Because you haven't been scoring shit all season. The defense has been scoring your fucking touchdowns. So it's not like we can just go and turn that shit up at any time. Oh, they start booing, we just go and score a touchdown. That's not the fucking case, nigga. Because that is not what the fuck has been happening all season. So shit like that just really fucking makes me mad. And that's what I'm saying. He comes in a press conference like he's that guy. Like he's that. Like we supposed to be bowing down worshiping him when he ain't done shit all season.
Stretches of your football life?
No. I mean, this is a 4-game stretch that everybody wanted to have more success, including us. It's frustrating. We're frustrated. But it's not the end of the world. We can still turn this thing around. We're 4 games into the year. We're going to be just fine.
After being 4 games into the year and seeing where you are with the offense today, how long do you think it's going to take for the offense to get raised?
We're close. I mean, like I said, there's plays to be made.
There it go. A phenomenal question. A phenomenal question. Because this reporter is thinking how I'm thinking. Like, yeah, we know you keep saying we're 4 games in, we're 3 games in. But how long is it going to take, nigga? Because 4 games is a month. And you only got a couple of them bitches in the NFL season as a whole. But my fault, we're close. Same shit we've been hearing from Matt Rule since, week 8, 9, 10 of last year. We're close. We're close. Must I remind y'all of, this nigga referring to this organization or, acting like his plan is similar to Jay-Z's. Must I remind y'all of that dumb shit that he said last year? Oh, the process is close. We're close, though. We're close. So fans, don't worry. We're close. We ain't been close for 30 weeks. Or, excuse me, we've been close for 30 weeks, but nevertheless, we're close.
If we make a few of those, this is a different ballgame.
How many times do we got to say that? When the fuck are we going to start making a few of those?
Sitting here acting like the world's ending. So, like I said, we're going to look at the tape, figure it out.
Come into this game thinking that this was a better opportunity for you guys to gel, being that Arizona has struggled in pass defense and third down defense?
Not just struggle in pass defense. The number 31st ranked team in pass defense overall. Not just struggle. And don't get me wrong, I love this reporter. I don't know who she is, but I love her and her approach on this shit. Because she shoots straight from the hip. She shoots straight from the hip. All that sugarcoating shit, all that politics shit, all that trying to make you feel good shit, she don't do none of that. I don't know who this lady is, but I fuck with her the long way for shit show. Cause she did this the whole press conference with this nigga and Matt Rule. The whole time she was in that motherfucker.
I just thought it was a better opportunity for us as an offense just because we've put in the work. We talked about what we needed to do. We had a great week of practice, great game plan, and we just didn't execute it. So it wasn't about them. The mindset for us is it needs to completely be on us. We have to figure it out, and we have to go execute.
Yeah, you do. You do. You do have to figure it out, and you do have to go execute. But that's really not what she asked you. But I guess, we'll let that answer slide. I guess. You got something to say because I see you shaking your head. So I'll pause it. I'll pause it for you.
I mean, it's just little slick, dumb shit like that. Like, it's not the end of the world because you still have a fucking job even though you suck. That's why it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world because you're not afraid to lose your job because you're playing terrible. So that's the only reason it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world because your coaches don't hold you accountable. Your teammates don't hold you accountable. They're not pushing you to get better because you're coming out putting on the same performance week in and week out. That's why it's not the end of the world. Because you don't have the drive to win. That's why it's not the end of the world. So, of course, that's another great answer. Just shows what type of fucking player you are.
Nothing.
Oh,
Like I
yeah,
said,
and this one triggered me too. Let me rewind
Arizona
it. This
showed
one
you
triggered the fuck
defensively
out of
that
me
you
too.
weren't expecting.
I've pretty much had that my whole career, whole life. It's a part of who I am.
What was Arizona showing you defensively that you weren't expecting?
Nothing. Like
Cool.
I said, there were plays to be made that we just didn't. We stalled out, hurt ourselves. Yeah, just not executing enough.
What can you say about the defense and what they provided you guys today?
I mean, they continue to play well. That's why I'm so frustrated because we have to play better as an offense. I mean, they continue to make plays. When you let an offense that's as high caliber as the Cardinals, that have that many series and have that good a field position on some of those turnovers, things are going to happen. So defense continues to play well. I mean, we trust those guys. They trust us. Like I said, we're going to stick together in that locker room. That's it.
You talk about better execution. What does that look like? What are you not executing that would make things more successful for you guys?
Converting third downs, not hurting ourselves, no penalties. Turnovers, obviously, is the number one thing. I mean, all that goes into execution. Little details on routes, little details on my timing. It's everything as a whole.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's our leader for the rest of the year. The only thing that I ask, because I want to wrap this up on Bake in particular, because at the end of the day, yes, a overwhelming majority of the blame, an overwhelming majority of the responsibility strictly should go to Baker Mayfield. But he's not the only problem. He's not. He's not the only problem, man. The fan base has been calling for Matt Rule's head for the past, 45 weeks damn near at this point. He's not the only problem. So that's why I say I just want to wrap up on Baker because we spent a good amount of time. But that is who is leading our organization for the remainder of this season. What seems to be, according to Matt Rule, at this very moment. That's who's leading our team. That's the face of our city right now. Somebody that, deflects the blame. Though at times he did show accountability in that interview. I will say at times he did. But his true feelings to me, in my opinion, was about 2 minutes into the interview when they asked him a question, and they said, "Oh yeah, it's us. We got to do better as a whole." The run game, the offense really is not playing bad because of the run game. The offense is not playing bad because of poor offensive line play. The offense is not playing bad no matter how many times Matt Rule tries to say it. The offense is not playing bad because wide receivers aren't winning their routes. The offense is playing bad simply because of you. So I kind of just wanted to show y'all that this is who we, the fate of our season. This is whose hands that is in. What would you like to say to wrap this up, wrap Baker shit up?
I mean, just specifically, just the press conference as a whole, like, I pretty much said how I felt about it in the beginning, throughout the press conference. I just think he was very arrogant and snob-like throughout the whole press conference. So, but I mean, that's just who he is. Like, he's not taking any accountability. I mean, he did at some points, and even previous press conferences he has. But like she said, like, this game seemed to frustrate him a little more. But for some reason, he still doesn't get the fact that it's frustrating you because you're playing terrible. Like, it shouldn't be the team as a whole is frustrating me. It should be my play is frustrating me. And I just feel like I didn't get a lot of that out of that press conference. And the thing with the run game, are you talking about the same run game who's had over 100 yards the last 2 games? But, I mean, y'all let me know. How easy will it be to key in on a run game when you know the quarterback can't pass? If he can't throw the ball, then why are we worried about the passing game? I wouldn't be. Even if they're not getting any pressure on him, he's still overthrowing the ball, throwing the ball low, putting his receivers in positions to get their fucking head knocked off, putting them in positions where they have to go out their way and make these crazy-ass catches off of real simple passes. His pocket presence has been dog shit. I mean, I've said that every week since the pod has started. And so, I mean, how easy will it be to key in on the run game if the quarterback can't make a simple pass? So, of course we couldn't run the ball last game. Not although did we not give the ball to Christian McCaffrey as much as we should have, but the times we did give it to him, I mean, they're just right there to bottle it up. Because I'm not worried about dropping their coverage and playing the pass because your quarterback can't throw. So, I mean, it's not really hard to key in on the run game. And so, I don't think the run game is the problem. The run game has been the strongest point of the offense. And so, what Baker is looking at, what he's talking about, I couldn't even tell you. And that was just another deflection mechanism that he had to pull out because he didn't want to put the blame on himself. So he had to go to the running game, which the running game is the strongest part of the offense. So at the end of the day, you just sound fucking stupid. And so that's all I got to say about that to get off of him.
One of the things, excuse me, one of the things that he did, he talked about a little bit that he touched on was the third down efficiency. I mean, and this has been a problem all year. And so this is where we'll kind of transition into the team as a whole and what other problems we have besides poor quarterback play. Because, it's not like we're playing flawless football in every other aspect. It's not. I won't even, begin to sit here and tell y'all that and mislead y'all in that way. It's not like things are perfect. It's not. Like I said, I won't even begin to tell y'all that. I don't want y'all to feel as though that's lost upon either one of us. Because I don't speak for that nigga right there ever, and I never will. But I know in that sense, with 100% confidence, that is not lost upon either one of us. We know we're not playing flawless football. We understand that. So, I mean, that's one of the things that he touched on, and I kind of want to touch on it too because it's an issue. It is an issue. And whether you want to put it on the quarterback play, whether you want to put it on lack of creativity within the offensive coordinator and his game plan, whether you want to put it on Christian McCaffrey. Maybe, you're not the biggest Christian McCaffrey fan. Maybe you don't feel like, he's one of them. You would be delusional to think that.
That would
in
just
my
be
opinion.
crazy as fuck.
Exactly. But maybe, maybe that, but this is the thing. With this fan base, I don't put shit past them. Because you were in the bathroom with me when we were walking out the stadium. And you saw them niggas. You heard how they were talking. So, I don't put it past them. I don't put it past this fan base. I really don't. I really don't. This past week, time of possession and third down efficiency. Let's just talk about that for about 2 or 3 minutes. Let's just look at it by the numbers. And then you take it how you want to take it as the listener. Time of possession this week. And I'm going to be rounding on some of these numbers. But understand that doesn't change anything. Because it hasn't even really been close the whole season. Time of possession this week against the Arizona Cardinals, 39 minutes to 21 minutes. Advantage Arizona. Third down efficiency, offensively, 2 of 10, 20%. Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. Time of possession, 38.5 minutes to 21.5 minutes. Third down efficiency, 4 of 11. Week 2 against the New York Giants. 24 minutes, 35 minutes. Third down efficiency, 2 of 12. And then finally, last week against the New Orleans Saints. This was the game that we won. So it's a direct correlation. 29 minutes and 50 seconds for the Saints. 30 minutes and 10 seconds for us. Third down efficiency, still some bullshit. 4 of 14. So again, we understand there's other problems. Like I said, there's been times where on third down, we don't convert because of a lack of creativity. There's been times on third downs where we haven't converted because there's been drop passes. But there's also been a good amount of times on third down that it's been a lack of execution from the quarterback position. Irregardless, nevertheless, it's a problem. And if you want to be great in this league, if you want to even begin to think about turning this thing around, it starts right there. It starts on third down. And what I will give, the coaching staff as well as Baker Mayfield, well, not even the coaching staff, I won't say that. What I will give Matt Rule as well as Baker Mayfield credit on is the fact that they both acknowledge this thing being a problem. They both acknowledge week in and week out that third down is a problem. So now, as a fan, the only thing I want to see is progress towards addressing the issue. The only thing I want to see is more creativity. The only thing I want to see are guys stepping up to the plate, realizing the significance of third downs and how important it is to execute on that specific down. Because if not, the same shit is going to continue to happen. The same cycle is going to continue to occur. 3 of the 4 games have not been close in time of possession. 3 of the 4 games has really not been close in terms of third down efficiency. So, I mean, it's stressful. It really, really is, bro. It's stressful. It's just the same shit. And that's really what stresses me out the most.
Yeah. And to speak to that, if you can't win the time of possession, then that just means you can't control the football game. And that leads to you not winning the game. Then, like JJ said earlier, you have to be able to convert on third downs. But to me, that goes to the play calling. That goes to the quarterback play. That goes to guys needing to get open quicker on third down because the pressure is coming. And so you have to get open quicker to allow your quarterback to be able to see you quicker. And so it's just a collective effort on the whole offensive side. But then another thing that it boils down to is being able to execute on first and second down.
Yep.
Because you need to be able to put yourself in position to where you're not having to convert on a 3rd and 8, a 3rd and 9, a 3rd and 13, a 3rd and 10. You have to put yourself in that position on first and second down. So if you execute on those downs, then when you get to third down, your success rate is way higher. It's easier to convert on a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 2, a 3rd and 4, especially when you got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, especially when you got a speedy guy like Robbie Anderson who can run a drag route, a quick slant, especially when you got a guy who has hands like DJ Moore. So that stuff has to happen on first and second down. And to me, that goes to play calling and execution when the ball is in the air, or just execution all around, all in general on offense. It starts on first and second down to make third downs a little more easier. But once you're able to get those things down, then you will see a different outcome in these football games. Because those things are 2 really big points that allows a team to win a football game. It's being able to control the game and being able to convert on third downs and getting the ball past the 50-yard line. For some reason, we can't seem to do that on the first drive or do that on the first couple of drives. So, I mean, like, there are little things. There are little things when you say them, but, like, when you're actually doing them, like, those are huge things to be able to conquer, to be able to master. And until we get those things down, we will continue to look like the same football team, unfortunately.
Yep. I mean, I agree. And really, third down, it is equally as important for the defense. And more times than not on third down this season, we've seen the defense time and time again get off the football field. Time and time again. We've seen the defense execute and put the offense, in a position to be successful. The times that we do see, our offense get past the 50-yard line or get into field goal range or whatever, majority of the time is stemming from the defense.
Yeah.
Like we said, the past 2 weeks, our game as a whole has been jump-started by the defense, by defensive execution, by the defense wanting to step up and make plays. And again, don't get me wrong, bro. Because I know how people like to do. They just want to, harp on, this is what he said, and he's blaming it on. Don't get me wrong. It's other issues. The defense has to figure out how to close these games out. But what I do understand and what I do realize is the fact that when you play at such an efficient and effective and elite level for 45 minutes of a football game, and it results in no points, it results in no execution offensively, one thing I know is that that's disheartening as a unit, that you don't have that support no matter what you guys want to say after the game, which I respect and I appreciate. Y'all not dividing. Well, at the bare minimum, y'all not dividing to us in our eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is behind closed doors, but I respect that. But I do know that is disheartening as a unit, just based on human biology, just based on the human brain. It's almost like in a relationship when you keep giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and don't receive shit in return. It's the same exact thing. You know? So I know throughout the first 45 minutes of the game, when we're playing at a top tier level and we're getting nothing in return, I know it's disheartening. I know it's hard for me to continue to do that every single snap. I'm aware at some point we're going to get tired. And transparently, the way the defense has played, we shouldn't even be in the positions where this type shit matters. It was almost like last week. The defense played so well, they created their own points, you know. So at the point in the game where the New Orleans Saints actually start marching down the field, we have some leeway to get that off. We have some leeway to at some point get tired. It's hard to play at an efficient and effective and top tier level defensively for 60 minutes. It's hard. It is. It's difficult. So I know there has to be some improvement there. I understand that. It's not lost upon me. We have to do a better job defensively at closing these games out. I get it. But the offense has to give us some support.
Yeah.
The offense has to help us out a little bit. The offense has to, you know, convert on more than 4 third downs. We can't have all of these 3 and outs. Because though, like I said, it's hard to play at that level, it's for 60 minutes, it's a lot easier when you go, instead of 45 seconds to 60 seconds, 90 seconds, instead of those time stamps, when you have a drive that's taking 3.5, 5, 6.5, 7, 8, it's a lot easier when you have an offense that can do that. But when you're turning around, you know, you just came off the field, just made a huge play, i.e. the Brian Burns play. And then you come back and you go 3 and out. Or you come back, you know, and only a minute and 20 seconds of the game clock has run off. That shit is difficult, bro. It is. So like we said, man, I mean, I understand it's not all him. It's not. And we're gonna kind of, you know, we'll I'm gonna reel it in a little bit because I won't be as upset as I was, you know, speaking on Baker Mayfield, because I mean, it is what it is, man. And when somebody shows you who they are, you gotta believe them. And that's what I've seen from Matt Rule, this coaching staff as a whole, the regime as a whole, Dave Tepper, you know, that's what I've seen. So I have to do better with letting the shit get to me, because I know what it is. I already know what it is, you know. And when I say the offense, or excuse me, the coaching staff as a whole, I mean, the theme of this podcast for the past 2 or 3 weeks has been 4 or more. And if you don't know what we're talking about, if you're a new listener, you know. If you don't know what we're referring to when we say 4 or more, is that this is this is not an exact number, but it's damn near close. Defensively, when we send 4 guys or more, we win the rep damn near 90% of the time. Right?
That's what it seemed like.
That's what it seems like. And so why I say it's not just on offense, it's not just on Baker, is because though I come in, though we just sat here and said that defense has to do a better job at closing games out, as the defensive coordinator, you have to put your guys in the best situation possible to be successful. The turning point in that game was when we pinned the Arizona Cardinals back. I think, we got the punt or whatever may have you, ends up touching down at the 16 to 17-yard line. Then they have a penalty, so somehow they end up about on the 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. The turning point of this game is this specific drive, because at this point it was still 10-10 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There's no way that you come out, the punt team executes as they have all year, with the exception of week 1. And even in week 1, it wasn't backbreaker shit. We just knew it was a problem that we had to get to the football. That's neither here nor there. Your punt team comes out and executes after your offense lays an egg, as they continue to do. Us as the casual fans, but I won't even discredit us in that sense, because to me, I don't think that we're just casual fans. I don't. But even if you want to put us in that box, because we know how this organization and the players and the coaches like to do, as they like to dismiss us and things of that nature. Even if you would like to put us in that box, even as a casual fan, we can see when you send 4 or more guys, more times than not, you win the rep with the guys that you have defensively. So I don't quite understand why we pin a team on the 3. And I don't even know what it was, so I'll just say inside the 5-yard line. While we quite pin a team that deep. And then you just continue to do the shit that you know you won't be successful with, and that is sending a 3-man rush. I really don't understand it.
Yeah, because it was 2nd and 15. He sent the 3-man rush the first time. Derek Brown batted the ball down. So that left him at 2nd and 15. And then he sent it again. Then I think Zach Ertz caught maybe a 8-9 yard pass, maybe 10-yard pass. Mm-hmm. Sent it again, and then they converted on 3rd down. And then really the drive they just marched up the field from there.
Yeah.
But just imagine if you put some pressure on them and you get off the field, and they have to punt from inside the 5. Just imagine what field positions that puts your offense in.
Yep.
And to even go out and put maybe even 3 on the board, that changes the whole dynamic of the game. Because now they're put in a position where they have to have some urgency. They have to speed up when they come back on the field. And so, in that gives your defense a little more leeway to where, they can settle in and play under control more in that next drive. But being that you let them convert on 2nd and 15, and then they march all the way down the field, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, after that possession, that's when Baker threw the pick on the first play.
I believe so.
And so,
because it was 16 or 17-10 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And so then when that happens, the defense, their offense just marched a damn near 95-yard drive, 94-yard drive. Mm-hmm. And then offense gets back on the field, first play, ball batted, interception.
And it goes back directly to the turnover, or to the time of possession.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's just stuff like that, like little stuff that started on the defensive end that really affected the game on the offensive end. And not necessarily taking the blame off Baker on the batted pass or whatever. But, I mean, the whole dynamic of the game changes if the defense comes out in the right packages, if you send 4 more people, if you send a blitz, and maybe we can get home and make them punt. But because you decide to send 3, then that's what happens. And then the whole dynamic of the game changes.
Yep.
And so.
And it's not, it's not like it was you sending 3 guys one time. Because that wasn't the case. We sat back and watched film yesterday. It was 3 times in that drive that only 3 people went on a rush, on a pass rush. 3 times that Brian Burns, for whatever the fuck reason, with the second most quarterback hurries in the NFL, was in coverage. 3 times where you have Derek Brown taking on 3 guys, because it's 2 whichever gap he goes into. So 3 guys, because you're fighting a losing battle. So, it's 3 times on a possession where you're still in the football game. It's 0-0. Your offense can't get anything done, but your punt team, like I said, continues to do their job and pin the guys back. And the only thing you have to do is send 4 or more, and you can win the rep. Because really, Arizona's offense didn't do shit spectacular.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray didn't show me really shit. It's been the same story with him this year, with the exception of, the second half of the fourth quarter and overtime against Oakland. It's been the same shit with him this season. So Arizona's offense didn't do anything spectacular. It's just a lack of the nuts from your defensive coordinator to do the right thing. Because time and time again this year, throughout the first month, we've seen the defense, when you send 4 or more, they win the rep. And when you send 3 or less, they get rammed.
Yeah.
So it's shit like that it just makes it, like I said, I'm really done geeking out. I'm done geeking out. But it's shit like that makes it extremely frustrating. It really is. It's shit like, having to burn a timeout for whatever reason with 10 or 11 minutes in the fourth quarter when the ball game is 0-0. It's shit like that as a fan, when you continue to see it week in and week out, and it seems like everything is just so simple. If you just send 4 or more, we're gonna be efficient. We're gonna be effective. It's shit like that makes it hard to stomach week in and week out. It is. So we really just have to do a better job. And a lot of the times, it is, again, defensively, it's not a player issue. It's more so, more times than not this year, it's been a coaching thing. Because our coach, for whatever reason, defensively specifically, refuses to put us in the best situation to be successful. It's frustrating. It really is. I know that you'll have some stuff to say on this. Another thing that's very frustrating is week in and week out seeing C.J. Henderson just get dogged the fuck out.
Yeah. Like I was telling JJ, if you want to see somebody just get fucking embarrassed while defending a route, if you just want to see somebody commit a dumbass pass interference, if you want to see somebody continue to miss fucking tackles, continue to have blown coverage, then look no further than fucking C.J. Henderson. Because that's what he does week in and week out. All of the things I said, he does that verbatim week in and week out, along with his partner in crime, Miles Hartsfield. Now, I will say Miles Hartsfield will come up and make a tackle.
For sure.
But other than that, he's dog shit in coverage. Dog shit. And so I don't know, man. When you just got when you got people on the field like that just and there was times where CJ, like on the pass interferences, he's in great position. He just doesn't trust his ability. So at that point, you're telling me that guy's better than you. As a coach, that's what you're telling me. He's better than you. You're in a position to make a play on the ball, but no, instead I want to fucking tackle him because I don't trust my ability to put my hands up and make a play on the ball. And a lot of the times, he don't even be looking for the ball.
Yeah.
So he has terrible ball skills in the air. He doesn't even turn his head to even see where the ball is at. Yeah, so Jeremy Chin went out, so Miles Hartsfield had to play a little more than anticipated. But other than him coming up and making a tackle, he's just very confused on the field, it seems like to me. Out of position. And so, I mean, we just have to find guys who can play. Like, we just have to find guys who are going to go out there and do a job. Because the secondary is not bad. Like, we have two great corners and two great safeties in the secondary. And Jeremy Chin and Xavier Woods, J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson. The secondary is good, but it's just when you have this one guy, it's like one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. Because the defense can play great, and then all they have to do is send their receiver on a fucking go route because they know C.J. Henderson going to tackle the fuck out of him before the ball even get there. So, I mean, it's just stuff like that, man. C.J. Henderson just has to play better, simply. But honestly, I'm tired of coming in and talking about him week in and week out. So it's like, it's not a matter of like, when are you going to play better? Like, you have to do that shit. Yeah. Like, you leave us no room for fuck ups anymore. Because this has happened the first game.
Yep.
Against Amari Cooper.
Yep.
That pass interference on an interception. Yep. Xavier Woods picked that off. And then this past game with Hollywood Brown, I mean, that put him in the fucking red zone. So, I mean, you have to play better.
And not to cut you off, I'm going to continue to let you cook, but those two specifically, and then last week against Chris Olave, where it wasn't a pass interference, but you just simply don't get your head around. You just simply, for whatever reason, don't trust your ability, don't trust the coverage that you initially play, and you just allow a pop play.
Yeah. And all of those come in crucial moments of the game. I'm not exactly sure when that pass interference happened with Hollywood Brown, but I mean, they only had 26 points, so I mean, shit, it had, and most of that was scored in the second half.
In the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
16 points scored in the fourth quarter, actually.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that just goes to show that plays like that, when that stuff happens in a crucial moment of the game, it really just changes the whole trajectory of the fucking game. And so it's like you just can't have shit like that. And Baker Mayfield did mention in the press conference, we have to cut down on the penalties. I don't know who he was specifically speaking on, but I mean, for me, C.J. Henderson immediately comes to my mind because it's a week in and week out thing. So,
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things, man. Like, Trey Boston said it on, former Panthers safety Trey Boston said it on Twitter. Him and Torrey Smith were having a conversation. It's just small things that seem so simple, but yet it just, for whatever reason, week in and week out, just seems like, we can't get over the hump. So I still believe, based on the guys that we have, no matter how much we want to sit here and talk about Baker's performances, no matter how frustrated we get that Christian McCaffrey only gets, 16, 17 touches in a game that's tied, and that to pause that rant or to pause that statement, the fact that we only ran the football 2 times in the second half is just like asinine to me.
Yeah, because it wasn't like we were in like a sense of urgency.
Right.
The game 0-0 going into the second half.
Yeah.
So why are we not running the ball?
Really, 0-0 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You know, so no matter how much we want to talk about that, no matter how much we want to talk about C.J. Henderson, it's like, again, all of this stuff is very, very simple. You know. But we have to figure out how to get over the hump. We do. And what I will say, however, the benefit, or not necessarily the benefit, but the positive we take away from this is that, I mean, we're still in the picture.
Yeah.
We're still in the picture. I don't foresee us winning this game. We'll do our score predictions, later. I don't foresee us beating San Francisco. But, I mean, there's a possibility that we can beat the LA Rams.
Yeah. They haven't played particularly good the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And then who do they have this week? Do they have the Cowboys? Or is that next week?
Let me see. I'm going to pull it up real quick.
So, I mean, yeah. Just piggybacking off of what JJ was saying, yeah, we're very much still in the race. We beat the Saints. They lost against Minnesota Sunday. We haven't played the Bucs yet. They lost against the Chiefs. Who else in the division?
Atlanta. They won.
Atlanta.
Yeah. And who would have ever thought, really, this offseason, with the lack of weapons that they have, in all transparency and all honesty, with the lack of weapons they have, who would have thought a month into the season that the Atlanta Falcons would be tied for the lead in the NFC South? Not me.
Yeah.
Not me, by any stretch of the imagination. So that's where we're at. Like, that's why I said, if we want to be optimistic and we want to take, a positive from this week, it's the fact that, okay, we have two teams in the division that's 2-2. We sit at 1-3. That's cool. Neither one of those teams, however, have we seen yet. We do hold a 1-0 record in the division.
Yeah.
So that's a positive. Somebody will lose, this upcoming week between the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we will have an outright leader in the NFC South. So again, that's another positive. Though I feel as though we will not have the ability to beat the 49ers based on what I saw last night and what I've seen, since Trey Lance has been out for that team, since Jimmy Garoppolo has taken over the reins.
Yeah.
But listen, there's still hope. I don't want to come in here and sound like the season is just done, because I don't feel as though that's the case. I don't. But shit has to get fixed, and it has to get fixed quick. It does. We have, like we said, we have the 49ers this week. We have the Rams the following week. Excuse me, damn, my voice cracked like a motherfucker right now. We have the Rams the following week, and then we have the Buccaneers and the Falcons. So, this next month of football is going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. I would love nothing more than to see this team rise to the occasion, specifically offensively and specifically Baker Mayfield, because I'll be the first to tell you, should he turn things around, I'll come in here and apologize. We have no problem apologizing. There's been times, you come in here and apologize. I've come in here numerous times and had to apologize. We have no problem with apologizing and saying that we were wrong. So I would love nothing more than, having to have that conversation. I would love nothing more than that.
Yeah. And yeah, so, and just going off what he said, like, and I think you might have been getting at this before you went to something else, but I think we have the talent on our team to turn it around.
Yeah, I was going
there. Yeah, we have the pieces in place to turn it around. And so I wouldn't say that we're completely out on the season, but like you said, if we do want to turn around, if we do want to make a push, then that has to happen quick. And everybody has to be on the same page. it has to be tremendous effort all around the board. Because like you said, we got tough matchups coming up.
Yeah. Honestly, the whole season, like as I'm looking at it, and we're a month in, the whole season is really going to be very, very grueling.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole season is going to be very, very tough. Because now that I'm scrolling down and I'm looking at some of the matchups that we have, there's really no team that is gonna be a guaranteed win.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to elevate our game. Not to cut you off, but I just wanted to say that real quick.
Yeah, I agree, and I will say that we've seen Baker play at a high level. We know what he can do when he's in that mode, when he's in that rhythm, and when he can actually make plays. Like we've seen that specifically with the Browns. He got them to their first playoff game in, well, I don't want to mess up the years, 16, probably more than 26, something like that.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. And so we've seen what he can do. It's not like he's incapable of doing these things. It's just he hasn't done it thus far, so it's very frustrating to watch. It's frustrating to watch, being that you know his potential. You know what he could be. And then you know what the weapons that he came into. And so he's surrounded by those guys where he can make a push. And so, like I said, I think we have the team. And if it's a team that I would want to bank on into turning something around, it will be a team like we have. We have a top 10 defense. Our weapons on offense, we have high caliber weapons on offense. Like, we're very capable of turning this ship around, but it has to start quick. And yeah, it has to start quick, and it has to start going into this week.
For sure. I still have faith in my guys, man. Listen, no matter what I say, no matter how frustrated I get, I'm a die hard. I'm a ride or die. Till the day I die, I'm a always rock with the Carolina Panthers till the day I leave this earth. And that'll be something that nobody will ever be able to say anything about. So I really still believe in this team. I do. He hating. What the fuck is he hating for?
Yeah, I had no idea.
What you hating for? How so? I mean, it's true. It's true. Nobody will be able to take that away from me. No, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I damn sure never do that.
Facts. Never.
But nevertheless, I mean, I still have faith in this team, bro. So I don't want y'all to sit here and listen to this episode and think that I've given up on them. It's just things that are extremely frustrating, And like I said, as a diehard fan, as a fan that is committed the way I am, a fan that is committed the way we are, it gets frustrating. It gets frustrating when you have the roster that you do, when you have the weapons that you do, as you just touched on. It gets frustrating, having to hear the same thing over and over again. It gets frustrating when, the fan base doesn't support the way I feel as though we should. But to give them some bail, our organization is still extremely young,
Yep.
So, and there's really been no culture established over the past 26, 27 years. So I get it. Do I respect it? No. Do I think our fan base at times is extremely soft? Absolutely. But I understand it. So it's just extremely frustrating. But I do still genuinely believe in my heart that if we address some of these issues, when we fix the little things, because they are little things, they are simple, but they add up. But if we fix those, I still genuinely believe in this team. I still genuinely believe that 100% healthy, that we can make a push. I still genuinely believe that. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. And should in a universe where the Carolina Panthers end up making the playoffs this year, it'll be a story to tell. And I promise you, that team, a lot of people will not want to see in the playoffs. Because if we somehow happen to make the playoffs with the 49ers, the Rams, the Buccaneers twice, the Falcons twice, the Bengals, the Ravens, Pittsburgh and the way they travel coming to BOA, Seattle and having to deal with the 12th man out there, and the way Geno Smith has been playing this season, coupled with Rashad Penny, Russell Wilson. Should we have to play these teams, and should, in a universe, the Carolina Panthers make the playoffs based on what we've seen the past month? That's going to be a team that a lot of people will not want to see in the playoffs.
I agree.
And I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But that it's a possibility. If we just fix the small shit, take the mental mistakes away, the foundation is there. Being that we have the talent that we do, being that the defense has played the way it's played thus far throughout the season. Being that Frankie Louvu might be the best outside backer in the game. I had to throw that shit in there because
I knew it was coming.
I did good though. I ain't mentioned bro the whole episode yet.
I knew he was coming up.
I had to do it just because I knew that type shit. But nah, man, listen, things can change in Charlotte, bro. It can. Things can change in Charlotte, but it has to happen, and it has to happen very quick. It does. What's the best thing and the worst thing that you saw this week?
It's really the same shit from the previous weeks. I think the defense played good, came in and got a takeaway, put the first points on the board. I think that was the first points, right?
Yep.
Came in, put the first points on the board. I think Frankie Louvu played great as he has been playing over these past few weeks. He had the pick six. He made a play before that as well. And so he just plays with high-level energy that I think he reciprocates to the whole team. And I think Brian Burns played great this week, as he does particularly week in and week out. He had a great tackle for loss. I think he got a sack. And so, the defense has been playing good. I can't take anything away from them other than they do have to finish games. But under the circumstances that they're put in, I can understand some of it. But, yeah, I think the defense played great. The worst thing I saw goes back to the quarterback play, honestly. Or not. I wouldn't say just the quarterback play. Offense in general. Whether that be coaching, quarterback, receivers, it's just execution in itself. That's really all it boils down to, is specifically executing. And so that same thing that happened last week. So yeah, and then just the terrible field position that we put ourselves in. And so when we have to battle upfield, drive 80 yards a drive, every time we step on the field, 90 yards a drive, it's hard to do those things. It's hard to do those things when you have an offense that's not been in rhythm over the past few weeks. When you have an offense that, just hasn't been able to get things going. And so that makes it hard. And so I would say that that's the worst thing that I've seen this week. But, like we said earlier, they have the ability to go in and turn it around. It's the little things that we just have to capitalize on. And then the batted balls, I can't skip past that. I get very frustrated in watching that every week because, it's just a constant theme and it's continuing to grow and grow and grow. And so I know it's frustrating for Baker, but it's frustrating for me too. That shit is so annoying to not even know whether this pass is going to be complete because a lot of the times when it's batted, the receivers are open.
Yeah.
And so it's like shit, we can't even get the ball past the line of scrimmage to see what we can actually do out in space because the shit is getting batted down at the line. And so, yeah, I would say those are the best and worst things I've seen.
Facts. For me, I think the worst thing that I saw probably is, just so we don't sound like a broken record week in and week out, you touched on a couple of the things that were the worst things that I saw. Another thing that I just despise seeing was Chuba Hubbard in the kick return game. I mean, I'm really just so sick and tired of that shit. Us not being able to hold on to the football in the return game. That's probably the worst thing one of the worst things that I saw, because if I made a list, it would just be repetitive for one, and it would be extremely extensive because, with that kind of game of football, it's a lot of things that when you go back and watch the film, it's a lot of things that you can pinpoint to shit that you hate seeing.
Yeah.
Another one of the things that I hated seeing and continue to hate seeing on a week in, week out basis is C.J. Henderson perform the way he does. 2 huge penalties throughout the first 4 weeks of the season. 2 really pop plays, that were taken away. And then you add the Chris Olave bomb that I referred to earlier last week against the New Orleans Saints. So that's another thing that I hated the most. And again, for the second week in a row, the best thing that I saw was Frankie Louvu. One of the best things that I saw is Frankie Louvu. And I don't want to just, I don't want to just every single week, just dick ride this nigga. Because at some point it got to, at some point it got to be a little sus. But, I mean, the first month of the season, he's been our best defensive player. And the defense has been our best unit. So the only thing that I can do is just directly go to who I feel is setting the tone.
Yeah.
And that's really the best thing that I saw. Because if I take the game as a whole and I boil it down to one play, what was the best thing that I saw was the pick 6 from the nigga.
Yeah.
And really, like you said, the 2 plays consecutively. Because he set the edge on Kyler Murray, mopped his little bitch ass up the previous play, and then got the pick 6, So that was the best thing for real. The pick 6 and just Frankie Louvu's play as a whole. 11 tackles, 1 TFL, 1 PBU, and a pick 6. So that was one of the best things that I saw. And that really was it. Honestly, defense, like I said, defense as a whole, but we can't keep saying it because it is what it is. But yeah, that's just what it is. It's not much, we don't have many options. We have a lot of quote unquote worst things that we saw and not many best things that we saw.
Yeah.
So we're going to sound like a broken record every single week because that's just what it is. That's what, that's the product that we're presented. The only thing that we can do is create content based on the product that we're presented. And that's what it is. So I really, really genuinely hope that we can turn this thing around, man. I really do. Kind of in closing here, we'll go over our, week 5 preview against the San Francisco 49ers. But I really, really hope that we turn it around because I would hate to see another year of, talent be wasted.
Yeah.
Based on upper management not having the balls to do what it takes, based on a coaching staff who's stuck on their ways, based on the quarterback, that can't throw the ball over the line of scrimmage. I would hate to see another year like that wasted. So I really hope that we can. I think we have the ability to do so. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. This tone that you hear in the podcast is completely different than what you heard last week.
Yeah.
And this season has the ability to, carry this tone particular throughout the duration of the season. And I pray to God really that that's not the case because my body can't handle it. I won't be able to maintain if that's the case.